Hello everybody and welcome to Coleman Coffee and God. Out here in my cold garage trying to put some work in. We've got Coleman stove heating up our water. You can see the steam rolling off of it. And I'm going to read a couple verses and then we're going to make our coffee and talk about it. Acts 5:29. But Peter and the apostles answered, "We must obey God rather than men." The next verse is 1 Peter 2:17. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, and honor the emperor. Okay. Obviously, as always, it's nighttime. We're doing decaf. And I take mine black with 1 sugar. Alright, while that cools off for a moment, let's start off with obeying God rather than men. First of all, originally men followed what God said. And so, the original rules and laws and regulations were based on that. It's not difficult to understand, hurting people, stealing. Those things are bad, right? And then when we go to Peter, we honor everybody. So that goes along, with God wanting us to treat each other good. And then we're going to skip over the brotherhood because we're going to mainly focus on honoring people, fearing God, and honor the emperor. So when we jump to fear God, that's really the only thing we need to worry about, is making sure that we're doing the right thing. And personally, when it says fear God, to me, that's for people who refuse to do good. In my heart, I almost feel like, I have a friend that I can't see, or that I can't see right now. And we honor the emperor. If we put things into modern day times, is what I'm trying to do. When we honor the emperor, think about like politicians, for example. Obviously, we have a president. We don't have an emperor. But, we're out there, and yes, I have contributed to teasing about Joe Biden. And I shouldn't do that. It's not that he's not doing bad things, of course. But that's not what it's really about. Really, it goes back to the beginning where it says honor everybody. That means we try to be good to each other regardless of what is going on. Let's see how I did with the coffee. Not too bad, not too bad. Now, we know generally that politicians may not have our best interest when they're determining what they want to do. But since we already know that, we need to skip past the hate because we know that they're going to do it. They're always going to do it. They've always done it. So, we honor everybody and we try to be good to each other. That doesn't mean you can't vote people out. You can change your mind on who the better candidate is. But above everything, you are to follow God rather than men. To me, these two passages kind of go together. And when I'm putting it together, I'm seeing follow God and treat everybody with respect. That's what I'm making of it when I'm reading it. There are issues with following unjust laws. And that's an issue as well. We have the issue of unjust laws. So, at the end of the day, we still have to honor everyone, honor the emperor, fear God, obey God. But when they start coming out with unjust laws, that can hurt people, and that could be anything. I don't even necessarily mean anything to do with the pandemic. Frankly, some of the things that they are doing behind the scenes, that's what we need to be worried about. It's not so much the pandemic, it's what they're doing under the cover of it. Hopefully you can't hear my neighbors yelling in the background. I'm in my garage. It's just one of those metal pop-up carport things that's been converted into a garage. Anyways, the main thing to me when it comes to these unjust laws is figuring out how to protect the children. We can pray for them, but there's more to it than that. When we're doing all these things, we have to do it the right way. That means trying not to hurt people while protecting the children. And I know there is some issues with hurting people, self-defense and whatnot. I know that in people's minds, even religious people who do not want to perform acts of violence may resort to that. And I can't say that I wouldn't, but I don't want to. And I don't want you to. I don't want you to have to, you don't have to, but I don't want you to. I'm hoping that you don't ever have to need to do anything. So, Sorry, it's a little cold out here. I'm losing my breath a little bit. um, and so just put out of mind any bad things that you see. Use your vote. Use your right to protest. Make your voice heard. But we do have to do it, and we do have to do it right. Most countries, at least in some ways, have to give in to the will of the people. So, you see all the things going on. You see all the things like in Australia, and I know a lot of European countries, if not all of them, are having some very extreme, quite frankly, evil or of the devil rules, laws, and regulations imposed upon them. We need to pray for them. Pray with them if you can. Protest with them. Protest for them. All while trying not to hurt people. Because, we are told, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Which to me means it's got to be a pretty extreme situation to even consider getting physical. In fact, I've always heard that you should try and flee. But there is the rule of law that is supposed to protect you while you self-defend, self-preserve, help other people. And they don't seem to be following that. And that's our government. All around the world. Problem is seeking power. That can be a bad thing. So, what I mean by that, and how that ties in, is if you are actively trying to dethrone somebody from a political position, you have to be careful. A lot of good people have turned bad, thinking that they were going to make a difference. And quite frankly, that's kind of where the emperor comes into play, because you have pressure, because there's different levels when it comes to any controlling party. Politicians, you think of England, with the Queen, even like the mayor of a city versus a governor of the state. Wherever you want to look at it, we are supposed to honor them, but we're supposed to honor everybody. So, to the best of your ability, without disobeying God, you follow the rules. And to me, that's okay. Because without consequences for our actions, everybody can do whatever they want. And we've seen that. We've seen it happen, we've been seeing it happen across the country, here in America. I'll be right back in like 15 seconds. Yeah, I found a little problem. I had a little fire going and a little homemade thing over by the door. And it was starting to smolder a little bit. And so it's homemade and mobile, so I just set it outside the door. It's starting to smoke me out a little bit. I hate when things like that happen. I lose track of where I was. Well, alright, let's see. We were in what? Running for politics, running for political office. Alright, so yeah, if you seek power, power can corrupt you. Even if you refuse to let the power corrupt you, they can get to you by other means because of the levels of power. And so, you know how it is. The threats behind closed doors. All of that bad stuff can happen to you. And then you end up stuck in something you don't want to be in. You know, if you point a gun at somebody and pull the trigger and you say, well, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't like his face, so I still did it. The part where you didn't want to do it doesn't make it okay that you did it. So we have to be very careful in all the things we do. Different paths can lead to different things. Even me bringing up God in a positive way on my channel can bring negativity to me. It's very likely that it will at some point if this channel happens to grow. The more impressions I get, the more views I get. The more views I get, the more likely it's somebody that's not going to like what I'm saying. There's a pastor on YouTube who... I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I totally lost that thought. Maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, anything like this could result in negativity. You know, like I said, the impressions will cause people to click. Clicks will result in, I don't care about this, I click away, or I like this, thumbs up. I don't like this, thumbs down. I really like this, so thumbs up in a comment. I really hate this, thumbs down in a nasty comment. And, the nasty comments, I really don't care. That's totally fine with me. So even me, myself, I could trap myself in a position where the Emperor takes notice of me. And that will cause me to have to personally honor him, but I have to obey God rather than men. So it's going to create a conflict if for some reason this was to take off. See, men, when it says, sorry, I'm gonna jump away from that for a moment. I'm gonna try and wrap it up. I realize we're over 20 minutes on this video. See, God knows that men are imperfect. That's why you follow him rather than men. Because even on the other side of the spectrum, when you say, well, this rule or law that they put in place isn't really bad, but how they did it, the reasons behind doing it, the long-term effects may not be good. So, these are all things to consider. I know I've rambled, I've jumped around a lot, I've said a lot of things that I may not have said in the correct order. But as I seek the answers that I'm looking for, I will be putting my perspective of what I find. Oh, I remember what I was going to say about that other pastor now. It's avoid the hippie Jesus. Not everything is sunshine and roses, and everything needs to be talked about. You don't pick and choose, what you're going to include or exclude. If you're talking about the Bible, God, anything related to God in general, it all needs to be talked about, and we don't alter things because it hurts feelings. In real life, feelings get hurt all the time. It doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't have to not be religious. People will still get hurt by things regardless. And I'm going to end off with that. Okay? God bless you. God bless America. But really, God bless all people. Stay safe. We'll see you on the next video.